Hello YouTube, I am back from the grind, back from life, back from listening to an amazing power metal album from an amazing power metal group. But we'll get to that in a little bit. First things first, I'd like to say, welcome back. If you've seen these reviews before, you know what we're all about on this channel. Metal album reviews. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, and I am so happy to be back. If you haven't seen these reviews before and you don't quite know what this channel is about, hopefully you will continue watching and then smash that like button at the end of the video. I'd also like to say welcome, because we love you. Today's going to be big, first video in a while, and we're going to be doing a couple of things. First things first, we're going to be taking a look at Powerwolf's new album, The Sacrament of Sin. And then I've got a fairly big announcement to make. That's going to be at the end of the video, though. First things first, gotta check out this Powerwolf album. And it was absolutely awesome. It was a really great album. It was exactly what I would expect out of the band after listening to them for a good length of time now. However, as it was with the Breaking Benjamin review earlier this year, I would still say that Blessed and Possessed was the better of the two albums. This album, The Sacrament of Sin, it took me a couple of listens before I got into every song. Blessed and Possessed, it had me hooked from the first note of the title track all the way through Let There Be Night at the end of the album. However, that doesn't mean that The Sacrament of Sin was a album. It was a very, very good album. The album had some really, really interesting lyrical themes on it. Now, I know it's Powerwolf, and you're going to have, the dark religious, imagery on the album ad nauseum. It's always going to be there because that's what Powerwolf does. However, they took that and sort of upped it a little bit on this album, especially on the song Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend. You've heard the saying, diamonds are a girl's best friend. However, it's blatantly obvious that Attila Dorn and company feel otherwise. You've also got your standard epic power metal with these driving guitars and magnificent choruses on Fire and Forgive, Incense and Iron, and a couple of other songs. And Powerwolf is one of the bands that I feel like doesn't really change their sound all that much, and they still sound terrific. There's even a beautiful ballad type song on the album. Ballad on a metal album? We can't have that. Powerwolf said, nah, we can do this. And we can make it as good as it is. It's called Where the Wild Wolves Have Gone. It's an amazing song. Probably my favorite song on the album, to be honest. I mean, Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend was a great song, too. That's probably my second favorite, just by a smidging. The album is not perfect. But as I've made clear on this channel, there is no such thing as a perfect album. It does have a weak point, and it's probably right through the middle of the album, tracks 6, 7, and 8. They're not bad songs, they're just not as good as the rest of the album. The song Stoschgebet gets very repetitive very quickly. It's the same German lyrics just over and over and over again. And that was one of the weak points I saw on Blessed and Possessed, was that the lyricism seemed a little bit repetitive, especially in one of the songs they did on there. I can't quite remember the title right now, but they sang it in Latin. And it was the same thing first, and then the chorus, and then the same thing again, and then another chorus. Night Side of Siberia, the 7th track on Sacrament of Sin, it had the opposite problem of Stoschgebet. It wasn't catchy enough. I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is solid. And then I left, and I completely forgot about it. It didn't stick. And for me, a good song has to stick. I don't care what genre you're doing. A good song has to stick. And Night Side of Siberia, it just didn't stick. The 8th track on the album was actually the title track on the album. And when you compare the title tracks from this album and Blessed and Possessed is clearly the superior one. It was just so powerful and oomph. Welcome to the album. And that's what I loved about it, because it was the title track and the opening track on the album. And it threw you into the album. And you were on a ride and you weren't going to get off that ride. On here, the track Fire and Forgive, the first track on the album, does the same thing, but with a little less oomph because it's not the title track. They wait until track 8 to do the title track. And that track, The Sacrament of Sin, it had a great chorus, but I can't really remember anything else about the song. So for me, Shtoshkabet, Night Side of Siberia, and The Sacrament of Sin, the title track, all three of those songs were a little bit on the meh side. Just me. Other than that, this disc was solid. It was great. Got some songs that are sure to be standards of Powerwolf's set list for years to come. The guitar work was very well done, and Roel van Helden's drumming is always superb. I think he's probably one of the most underrated drummers in the metal genre. He's a guy you don't really hear, too much about. He's one of these guys who, like Ryan from the Devin Townsend Project. He's one of these guys that you don't hear too much about. The lyrical themes were interesting without being over the top. There's so many bands who dress up kind of like Powerwolf does with the makeup and all this crazy stuff, and they go way over the top when they're either their satanic lyrics or lyrics just about how we're so evil, look at us, blah, 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 blah. And I get tired of it, frankly. The lyrics on Sacrament of Sin they were fine. I mean, they weren't over the top. They weren't so under that you couldn't think, oh, this is a little bit of a scary proposition. But they were really, really, really nicely done. And the production, just solid. It's a Powerwolf record, and it's going to be very, very good production. It's a power metal record. It's going to be very, very good production. They just need to work on doing things a little differently through the middle part of the album. Other than that, solid album. Maybe not an album of the year contender, but definitely a contender for an honorable mention. Sacrament of Sin getting an 89 out of 100 on the YPS scale. And now we have our announcement. I have made the decision to continue doing these reviews on a separate channel. That's right, I'm going to be setting up a new channel. That channel is going to be called Metalhead Central. And it should be up and running shortly if I can do that. I hope I can. Like I said at the beginning of the video, life happens, so it'll probably be a few days, but it is coming, my friends. It is coming. Also, we're going to be on Facebook, accompanying Facebook page, where I will not only be shooting videos and posting them to both Facebook and YouTube, I'll also be doing some writing, be doing some write-ups, album reviews, and things like that. And if everything works out, I would love to go live on Twitter. I'd love to do that as well. Here in a few days, when I can get the channel up and running, I'll be making a special video. Also, now that I am out of school, graduated, and all that good stuff, I'm going to be back to doing weekly reviews, guys. I think it's a lot of fun to do the weekly reviews now that I do have time while I'm both looking for work and working at my current job. It's going to happen. Weekly reviews coming back. I'm so stoked. Got some really, really great stuff coming down the line. Omnium Gatherum's got an album coming out. Amity Affliction's got an album coming out. Pig Destroyer, for the first time in a blue moon, is releasing an album. I'll be checking them out. First song off that album was pretty sick. Pretty sick grindcore there. Super excited to review all three of those albums. Now next week, I'll be doing a bit of another mega review. If I'll remember, I did a mega review a couple months ago where I did Between the Buried and Me and Aurora Noir and the Ghost concert that I went to. So this is going to be the second one of those, and periodically I may do them. Next week, it's not only going to be Amity Affliction, Ancestors has got their new album coming out, and I was just so blown away by the song that they released a few weeks ago. that I am totally down with this new album. Should be a great, fun, atmospheric ride through some awesome doomish kind of metal. So if you're into the doom, then this is the place to be next week. In the meantime, smash that like button and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the Sacrament of Sin. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.